Hello there everybody, I am Kev, the Community and Social Media Manager for Hardball Games, and I'd like to welcome you to and introduce you to OutRage. OutRage is our melee-focused isometric brawler. It has a number of different game modes, including Battle Royale. We've got solo modes and team modes for small teams and larger teams. And in this video, I'm going to be running you through how the game works, its mechanics, how the combat plays out, and also show you some of the game modes. That's worth remembering that the build that you are looking at is in pre-alpha, so we're very, very early on in the development. It doesn't have any of the metagame in, and lots of stuff here is placeholder. There's lots of bits missing and stuff that is liable to change. If you do want to have a play for yourself, you can do that. This current version of the pre-alpha is available on the Steam store page. If you go to the beta section at the top of the game description, there's a little button that says request access. If you press that button, it will automatically add OutRage to your Steam library. Now, we don't have a huge number of players online at the moment, so if you do want to get into a game with other people, either invite your own friends because they can all play for free too, and you can set up a private game with your friends and play with them, or you can join our Discord. There are links on the store page. There's also links on the game screen itself. If I just go into the first screen of the game, actually, you can see there's a button here that will take you straight to our Discord. This is a great place to meet up with other people who are playing OutRage, and you can arrange times and dates to play with other people. We also do run events every week where we get multiple people together to come and play, so you can see when those events are. You will also, if there are any play tests scheduled in your area, that doesn't show one on this screen at the moment because I haven't got one set up for this particular development build, but you will always see the date and time in your local time of the next available test in your area, and that's all going to be down to which region you're set to. So I'm playing in Europe. I've got this set to the European region. You can play in other regions, so if you want to, if you're in Europe and you want to play on a US server with people in the US, you can do that. It's worth bearing in mind that you'll get a bit more latency if you're playing further afield, but it's often still quite playable, even if you're playing with someone on the other side of the world. So here we are on the main page for OutRage. We can go and set our player name, so I've already got mine set there. Now we do have some customization options where we can switch between different looks for our combatant. Now these are very much placeholder at the moment. The finished game will have far more options, and instead of just selecting presets, you'll have different skins and components to really customize your character up and make them look more how you want. We've also got a couple of different OutRage abilities here. I'll explain more about these once we actually get into the game proper. For now, I'm just going to select On Fire. We've also got the grenade ability, but On Fire is the default one. So let's jump in, and we're going to go into the training area first, and I'm going to reset the training because obviously I've done this before, and I'm going to show you how combat works. So the game does have controller support, and in fact a controller is highly recommended. We do have keyboard controls that are available at the moment for debugging, so they're not really set up for playing, although some people do manage quite well with keyboard, but you will have a much better time playing with a controller, and we do support PlayStation and Xbox compatible controllers on PC. So here we are. This is me, the little guy in red in the middle, and we move around with the left stick. It's fairly straightforward movement there. So let's just go ahead and do that. So we can also sprint. If we hold down the right trigger, we can sprint. Also, if you do a combat roll and hold down the roll button, you can continue the sprint as well. Now, sprinting does use stamina, which is the little white bar below my health bar. So as you can see, as I sprint around, that white bar goes down. And we can roll using the A button, and again rolling also uses stamina, but rolling is a dodge, and it does give us a couple of invincibility frames, so if somebody tries to hit me or throw something at me, I can dodge out of the way of that. And as I said, if you actually do a roll and hold the roll button down, you automatically go into a sprint without having to press the sprint button. So our main attacks are punch and kick, which is X for punch and Y for kick. So it says punch opponents with X, just like that. So we'll just keep punching some opponents. Now, you'll notice what I did there was a combo. We'll talk about those more in a moment, so I'm not actually going to do that again. But there's our punching done. And one thing that you will notice that happens is whenever you hit an opponent, you see these little red orbs that fly off the opponent and track to your character. Now, that is rage, and rage builds up the rage bar, which is that curved bar in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So every time I hit somebody and do damage to them, I start to fill that rage bar. Now, you'll see that the three people that I'm beating on here are different sizes. You've got the little blue guy here, who's the same size that I am. You've got the yellow guy, who is slightly larger. And then you've got the green guy here, who is absolutely massive hulking guy. And I also just realised that I've selected the same character skin as all three of these guys. This is something that's going to change as well. We are replacing these dummies with something a little bit more appropriate. But again, pre-alpha, so everything here is liable to change. So let's go in and keep hitting these guys to get rage. So we call these guys Evos. It's the different evolution of your character and the size that you are. So when you're the starting size, like my guy here, you are Evo 1, and this guy is an Evo 2, and this guy is an Evo 3. So that's how we keep track of them. So if I just go and hit on somebody, and I'll fill up that first segment of my rage gauge, and now I'm Evo 2. If I fill up the second segment of the rage gauge, I'll become Evo 3 like this guy. So we can kick. So let's go ahead and do kick. Now, kick is a little bit slower than a punch, but it does have longer range. So it's a good way to engage at a bit more of a distance. So we can also pick up and use objects. Now, there are two types of objects you can pick up. There are objects that you can throw. So a throwable object is basically anything that highlights yellow when you stand next to it is something you can pick up. So barrels are throwable objects. Now, some objects you can pick up depending on your size. If we look at these dumpsters, for example, they highlight yellow when I stand next to them. That's because I'm Evo 2. If I was Evo 1, I wouldn't be able to pick those up because they're too big. Now, if I stand next to the car, I can't pick the car up. It's not going yellow. That needs Evo 3 to pick that up. So let's go ahead and pick up the barrel here. So if I pick up the barrel with the grab button, I can then hold the grab button and charge up a throw and throw that towards my opponents. So if I hit an Evo 1 with it, it'll knock the Evo 1 down because it's an Evo 1 object. If I hit an Evo 2 with it, it'll do damage, but it won't knock them over. Same as if I hit an Evo 3 with it. It'll hit them, do damage, but not knock them over. If I go and pick up an Evo 2 object and throw that at an Evo 2, it will knock them over. But if I throw the Evo 2 object at an Evo 3, it won't knock them over. Let's just fill that rage bar up and just get up to Evo 3 myself. So now I'm Evo 3. This means I can now grab larger objects like cars, and the cars will even take down an Evo 3. So it's always worth trying to get bigger because you can pick up bigger objects. And you can also pick up and grab and throw opponents. So I can grab this guy here and I can throw him at somebody else. You can always pick somebody up and throw them if they are the same size as you. And you can pick them up and throw them if they are smaller than you. If they're bigger than you, you can't pick them up. You'll just do like a little arm bar or a leg bar or a judo throw and just flip them over. You won't be able to actually pick them up and throw them. So we'll just finish throwing these people here. So now it's going to teach me about combos. But before we do that, there are some other objects that you can pick up. So, for example, here is a baseball bat. You will find that there are weapons on the map that you can pick up. So you can see in the bottom right-hand corner that the baseball bat has now replaced my fist icon. If I go and drop the bat, you can see that's the fist. There I'm unarmed. Pick up the baseball bat and you can now see that's appeared in the bottom corner. There's also 3 red dots and that indicates the number of uses the bat has. By uses, it means successful hits. So if I hit this guy, one of those red dots depletes. If I hit him twice more, the bat will now break. So there is a limitation on how much you can use melee weapons. There are also parts of the scenery you can use, like, for example, these parking signs. I can rip those straight out of the ground, and I can go and use those as a melee weapon as well. Let's see if I can sort of reset some of these guys out and get them back out of the corner. In fact, let me just pick them up and throw them somewhere more useful. Not the car. Didn't want that. I want this guy. You get over there. And you get over there as well. Okay. So now we have combos. So a combo is any combination of punch and kick. The tutorial's telling us to do the punch. So this is to discourage button mashing. It does reward people who are a little bit more skill-based. So it's all about timing. So what we need to do is go punch, 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 and that exact timing. And we do a combo that ends with an uppercut. Punch, punch, punch. If I was to do that too fast and just keep hitting the punch button, you can see that the combo fails and my character's flashing blue. So spamming the button is too quick. And also if you're too slow, that wasn't what I wanted to do, but if you're too slow, you won't be able to put that combo together. If you hit somebody 3 times, you will knock them down though. But it's about getting that timing right. It's punch, punch, punch. And even I messed that one up. I was too slow. Punch, punch, punch. There we go. Now, when a combo ends with an uppercut, let's put all these guys together, actually. Let's get rid of that. Let's put you over there. Trying to prove a point here. Can you all stand next to each other, please? So if we go punch, 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 when a character comes back down, it actually hits anyone else standing around them. So it does a little bit of AoE damage. Now, we can also do a combo with kicks as well. So we're going to go Y, 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 or kick, kick, kick. Now, you'll notice the kick combo ends with a drop kick, which is a very good way of knocking your opponent back away from you. Let's eliminate Jamie so that he respawns. So, kick, kick, kick. Now, a combo can actually be any combination of kicks and punches. So, we could go punch, punch, kick. We could go kick, kick, punch. And then, obviously, we've got kick. Oh, let me get it right. Kick, punch, kick. And punch, kick, punch. The only thing that's important is how it ends. If it ends with a punch, it will do the uppercut, which is AoE damage when they come crashing back down. If it ends with a kick, it'll do the drop kick and knock them backwards, which can hit other people. You can knock them into props, scaffolding, pits, other hazards, other players. We've now got the charged punch. So if we hold down the punch button, we can actually charge up a punch and fly towards our opponent. Now, the charged punch has a shorter range. There is normally an indicator on the floor that shows how far it's charged, but that's not showing at the moment. But that is the charge punch. Now, a charge punch can initiate a combo. So you can actually use the charge punch to get into a fight and turn that into a combo if you want to. There's also a charged kick. The charged kick does have a longer range than the charged punch. Now, the charged kick will also go through multiple opponents at the same time. So if you do it like this, you can actually hit multiple people with it. So now our rage gauge is full. So down in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see the rage gauge is on fire and the right bumper button is showing. And basically what happens is if we hit the right bumper, we use our overrage ability, which at the moment is on fire, makes my character go this red colour. It increases my movement speed. Look how fast I run. So it increases my speed. It increases my damage output as well. And just makes me all around tougher. So we will have multiple different overrage abilities. At the moment, we've only got the 2. There's that one and the grenade. The grenade basically does an AoE explosion around your character on a short timer, a short delay. Here's also the palm tree, one of my favourite weapons. So the palm tree is great because it starts off as a throwable, so you can pick it up and you can throw it at people. But eventually the pot will break and it will become a melee weapon that you can just pick up and bash people with. This is our developer build at the moment. The palm tree has infinite durability, but it wouldn't normally have, but it's quite a fun weapon to bash people with. So one more thing that we have in here that's worth showing, which isn't currently covered by the tutorial, which is a charged attack. So you will notice that if I sprint, at some point my character will flash gold. Did it just as I went past the tree, making it difficult. So let's run. There's the flash. So if you sprint and your character flashes gold, after that flash, if you hit the punch button, you will actually do a little charged attack. So if I do a normal sprint and punch, it doesn't really give me any extra range. So a little sprint, punch. Little sprint, punch. But if I do a sprint until I flash and then punch, I do a charged attack. That's a great way for chasing somebody down. Didn't really give myself enough charge there, but yeah, it's a great way if you're chasing somebody to actually get in and close the gap. So there we are. That's the training and that's the basic mechanics. There are some other items and objects that you'll be able to find around the maps. There are various other items like the green barrels. Any green object, if you damage them, will drop health that you can pick up. I'm at full health anyway in this training level, so that doesn't really matter. There are red gas canisters that you can throw onto the ground and they will cause an area of effect, an area of damage effect. Anyone that walks in will take damage. There are some green health canisters that you can drop on the ground which have the opposite effect, so it's area effect healing. There are some rage pickups that allow you to automatically fill up your rage bar, or one segment of your rage bar. And there are crates with various weapons and things in as well. So I'm going to go through now and show you some of the different game modes. Okay, while we're here, let's take a quick look at the lobby. This is currently undergoing an overhaul, so it will work slightly differently from this in the reasonably near future. But at the moment, there are two ways that you can get into a game. You can either hit the quick play button here, which will put you into a queue within your region. So as you can see, it's put us into a queue for Pain Points, which is the game mode, on Plaster Factory, which is the particular map. I'm the only person in the queue at the moment, one of 16 players. I'm just going to cancel out of here. And what you will actually see is at the bottom of the screen the countdown that shows you when the game mode changes. So the current mode here is Pain Points on Plaster Factory, and it will cycle. However, depending on the number of players that are available, it may change the mode from the one that you were queuing for. Now, it will put you in the queue for your region, but you can always change the region over here on the top left-hand corner. It will auto-detect which region you're in and place you in the closest one, but you can override that. Another way you can get into a game is either creating a room or joining a room. If you want to create a room of your own, you hit the Create Room button and the game will ask you to enter a code. You can only change these first 4 digits, and you can put in whatever number you want to. This is your number, and the last 2 digits always represent the region that you're in. So if you're playing on the European region like I am, it'll be 01. Once you've created that room, you can then give that entire code to your friends, 5678-01 in this case, and if they then go in, hit the Join Room button and use that same code, it will put them in that room. It's not going to do that for me because I've just left and destroyed the room. But that means you can create private games with your friends. Once you have done that, you can then actually choose from the list which game mode you want to play and which map you want to play on. So you've got a way to be able to pick which modes you play and who you play with. Okay, so now we're going to go through replays of a few previous played games, and the first one we're going to take a look at here is Pain Points, and this is a really good mode for beginners because the objectives are very simple. You score points by dealing damage to other players. If you knock another player out, you gain bonus points, and if you get knocked out yourself, you respawn quite quickly and can get straight back into the action. So this particular game that you're watching now, we're actually playing in duos, so teams of 2 people. You can play it solo, or you can play teams of 3 or 4, but duos is a good size. So up in the top right hand corner, you can see that it's the first team to 4,000 points to win. Currently the red team, spectating myself there at the moment, the red team is currently, was in 5th place, now just gone up to 4th on 384 points. And we can cycle through and have a look at all of the other players and what they're doing. We can also have a look at the scoreboards at any time and see how much anyone is scoring. Danny right there up the top because she's usually throwing people around. So let's have a look at what we've got. We've got Bennett there being thrown into the scaffolding and taken out because that is one of the environmental hazards that does do damage. So if you get thrown or kicked or knocked backwards into the scaffolding, you will take damage from it. If you're standing underneath it and somebody throws something at it, including another player, you'll also take damage from it there, as James demonstrates excellently by picking up huge arms and throwing him into the scaffolding. That explosion there from James was the grenade. That is one of the OutRage abilities. So as we discussed in the training section, as you do more damage to your opponents, you actually gain rage, which makes your characters bigger. Once you fill up the rage bar, which is that curved bar down in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you will unlock your OutRage ability, which James is using to great effect, picking lots of people up, throwing them into that scaffolding for the extra damage, building up his rage, getting himself a charge of the grenade, and then when he gets close enough to people, usually in a group, that's the best place to do it, when you've got a group of people around you. Here's Knuckle Sandwich coming in, there goes the grenade, it just misses because Knuckle Sandwich rolls out of the way with the combat roll and its invincibility frames. James gets taken down. Now Knuckle Sandwich goes in with the grenade and misses as well. Does a drop kick on raising Jake into the scaffolding, but was actually standing so close to the scaffolding, took damage himself and eliminated his teammate George. So even though there isn't friendly fire in a sense on this game, you can knock your own teammates over by hitting them with other objects, but in this case you can take damage from things like fire and the scaffolding. So that round was very quick and actually won by Danny and Gadget Goose. So we'll have a look at another game mode here, one that has a bit of a different objective. So this is Domination. Now, Domination is a team game. It works best with teams of 4 or 5 people. And around the map, you have these circles with the letters in them, A to E. These are the capture points. And if you capture a point, then you start scoring points for your team. So blue and red team here are fighting over point E. Red are in the process of capturing it, but it's still very tricky. There we go. Red have now captured that. We've got James over here. He's on B, so B is definitely secure for the yellows. Greens and yellows are fighting over point A. Point E is still contested between the blue team and the red team. So at the moment, blues don't have any points captured. The reds only have E. So the reds are scoring, but they're behind the green and yellow team, who both have a couple of points each. So JFP and Bennett here trading some blows with various melee weapons. Now, the melee weapons, there are things like shovels, parking signs, baseball bats. JFP there was just about to pick up the hammer, but decided to go back into the fight. So some of these weapons you would actually find in crates, like the one that you can see right at the bottom of the screen at the moment, the little brown wooden crate with a health bar above it. Bennett now has the hammer. He is going in with that. We did just see Boom Boom Pow there with a shovel, making great use. James also has a shovel. So you can do a charged attack. So like the charged punch, you can do a charged attack with a melee weapon. Now, all of these melee weapons have durability. Whenever you're holding a melee weapon, you'll see it down in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. It will replace the fist icon that is next to the rage bar. And this, like, Mince Pie here has a shovel. That has 3 hits. Now it's down to 2. You can see one of those little dots has now disappeared because it's losing some durability. Mince Pie manages to get another hit in on James. There we go. Now it's down to 1 durability and breaks when it hits George. So the weapons don't last forever. Ones that you pick up around the environment, like lying stuck out of the ground, tend to have less durability than the ones that you find in crates. So it's definitely worth picking those crates up. Go find them, break them open. There are various spawners around the map. Like the one you can see on the right hand side there, where that box of pallet of cinder blocks is. So that's actually a spawn point, and that will spawn things that you can throw at people, like Seb is doing there. He's just picked the pallet up and thrown it onto point C. There's another one down in the bottom corner there where Bennett is standing. That is a health canister. So Bennett's just breaking that open to go and get some health, although he's now getting beaten up by Seb. Huge Arms looks like he's just respawning. George and Fight Fest are on point B, trying to defend it from James and Huge Arms. James being one of our better players, it's going to make life a little bit difficult there. We've got red, blue and greens all contesting point D there. Now, there is a spawn point there for items at the top. George is trying to drop kick Michael off the map here, so you can actually go over the edges of the map on some game modes. There are various concrete pits and spike pits that you can be thrown into for an instant knockout. The yellow team is on 90%. They have a clear lead at the moment. Only green can contest them currently on 69%. Green don't have any captured points at the moment. They're losing D, so that's not scoring points for them. They did eke a couple out of them, and yet now they've lost D completely, so they're not getting any points now. Yellow don't have any points captured at the moment either. This is giving blue a bit of a chance to catch up. Red are not in with a chance at the moment. George and Huge Arms knocking it out of each other. George just comes away with a sliver of health left there at 99% for the yellow team, and the yellow team have won. So we can see that it was Huge Arms and No Fuel Jimmy there doing the majority of the work. Although some of the people on the other teams, like George on the green team and Knuckle Sandwich on the red team, did actually hold points for longer. So looks like you just had a few players letting you down. What a shame. Okay, so let's go into our third game mode here, and this is another team mode. This is Crate Grab. This is one of my personal favourites. So again, it's always best played in teams of 4 or 5. There are 4 teams, red, blue, yellow and green as before. And the idea of this game mode is around the map on these little wooden platforms in the middle. You'll see these crates spawning. There's one of the green crates. Has a triangle on it for those who are colourblind, just like the red crates have squares on them. The blue crates have circles on them. And and what else have we got? Yellow crates have diamonds on them, so just an easier way to differentiate them. And the idea is you want to pick these crates up just like Danny is doing here, and you carry the crate all the way down to your own base. It's marked on the map by these different coloured arrows and flags, so you know which way to go. There is an off-screen indicator as well. You deliver the crate home and score a point. That's how it's done. Then you go back and get another crate. There are various different ways to play this game. You can be a crate collector, you can pick them up and carry the crates back to your base, or you can try and defend your own crate collectors, as Huge Arms goes in here and throws a massive gas canister down towards Blue's base. There is a golden crate that spawns occasionally in the middle of the map. Yellow team here, both Danny and Michael trying to deliver a crate, and James is trying to stop them. So this is what I was saying about the dynamics of play on this particular game mode. You can try and deliver crates back to your base. You can do what James is doing here and try and harass the other teams and stop them from delivering the crates. Or you can try and protect your own crate carriers so they can get them back. Here's the golden crate with the star on it. George currently has it. No Fuel Jimmy is trying to defend him from myself, actually. I'm really getting in there and doing a lot of throwing around. Boom Boom Pow actually managed to grab the crate from the blue team after I was running interference. George has now got the crate back. He's trying to take it back to the north. There's a massive fight going on here between myself, between George, between a couple of the blue players. Can we get that crate out of the melee? Now, the reason everyone's fighting for the golden crate is worth 3 points. If you deliver that back home, that's going to count for getting 3 crates. So it's very, very important, one, to grab it for yourself because 3 points is 3 points, but also if you can keep that crate away from the other team, you stop them from scoring 3 points. And when there are only 12 points needed to win, grabbing the golden crate once gets you a quarter of the way there. It looks like George is going to get it, and he just manages to do it. Now Blues are more than halfway to victory because George has scored there, and we've already got Raising Jake trying to take another blue crate in as Boom Boom Pow goes and knocks it out of his hand. A Mince Pie is trying to defend, or was trying to defend, the crate carrier from Knuckle Sandwich, but then got distracted by a crate. Knuckle Sandwich knocked the crate out of Go-Go Gadget Goose's hands, but it looks like he's going to go and deliver that crate. Green are going to score. Red do not stand a chance in this game. And that's a shame to say because that's the team that I am on. Yellows are pretty far behind as well. The blue team are very, very close to winning. A couple of their guys running around just smashing things. George goes and gets a hammer. Now, there is Fight Fest taking a blue crate and throwing it off the map. So this is another thing that you can do. You can get your opponent's crates and you can mess with them. You can go and hide them. You can throw them in places they can't reach. Hide them in your own base. You can throw them off the map and they'll get destroyed, but they will respawn. So it's not a permanent solution. You'll also see on this map there are some of these big trucks. If you are Evo 3, which are the big guys like Huge Arms here, you can pick those trucks up and sort of throw them and reposition them to try and block off sections of the map. Force your opponent's team to go the long way around. The blue team now on 11 of 12 as I desperately try and get a crate home. Boom Boom Pow just has as well. There goes one from me. So red team is now on 5 points, but the blue team is only a single crate away from victory. I've got the golden crate there trying to fight No Fuel Jimmy. I don't want him to get that crate home, but right at the top of the map, as I try and cycle through the players and get to it quickly enough, there is a fight going on up there between George, Huge Arms, JFP for that crate. If George can get that crate back to the point, it's going to be a win for them. Green are catching up, yellow are catching up. So green are now on 11 of 12, yellow on 10 of 12. Red still don't stand a chance. It's anyone's game at the moment apart from Reds. There goes the crate. George throws it in, and there's the win for the blue team. We can see there on the blue team, George doing the majority of the work, followed up by Bennett. No Fuel Jimmy apparently didn't deliver any crates. I only got 3 home on that game. So James and Knuckle Sandwich, who are both on the red team, on my team, didn't score any crates themselves because they like just going and messing with people, and that is what they were doing. Okay, we'll take a look at another game mode we have here, and this is going to be survival. So this is our Battle Royale mode, and in Battle Royale, once you are knocked out, you are eliminated and you're out for the rest of the round. It can be played solos like we are here, so this is playing basically with just single player teams. You can play it in duos and trios and larger teams. But we think it's a little bit more fun playing solo. Seb's hiding away there in the corner. He may have gone AFK. You do start this game mode with some extra health, just so that you're in the fight a little bit longer. There are also various objects around the map that are coloured green. Bear in mind, this is pre-alpha, so they're not fully textured yet. So the green objects will get some loving before release. But those objects like the like the dumpster you can see at the top right of your screen there. There's the dumpster there James is just trying to pick up. There are also some vending machines. A couple of the cars are green along with some barrels. If you hit or do damage to any of these objects, they will drop health pickup. So you can get health back in these rounds. There are a couple of extra ways of doing it. But essentially what you want to try and do is eliminate the opposing teams or the opposing players. Now, if you are playing this game in teams, it only needs one member from your team to go through to the next round. So much like a traditional Battle Royale, as the round goes on, there is a ring of death that starts to sort of squeeze people in towards the middle of the map. But what we do is we have a number of rounds. So in this particular round, we started with 15 fighters. The final 8 will go through to the next round, which will be on a smaller map, and then from that the final 4 will go through into an even smaller map. So just a way of keeping the action nice and compact and nice and tight. Now, one thing with this elimination game mode is because everyone is trying to stay alive, there's no reason to just YOLO in and get yourself knocked out. Is that you'll find a lot of the players end up getting to Evo 3. So if you're still alive by mid to end game, you're probably going to have enough rage to be Evo 3 unless you've just been hiding in the corner. And what this means is that there's lots of people who are big enough to throw cars around, and particularly on these maps they get thrown around a lot. Now you see a couple of people up there who have this sort of glowing aura. So there's myself. I've got the glowing aura. Somebody else had it as well. So that is Flame On, which is your other OutRage ability, and that basically allows you to do extra damage and it allows you to move faster. That's actually a really useful OutRage ability to use in the previous mode in Crate Grab, because the good thing about Crate Grab is that the larger your character is, the faster you can run. So if you're carrying a crate, you really want to be Evo 3 so that you can run back to base with it. And if you're using the flame ability and you run back with that, you're so fast no one's going to be able to catch you. So Danny, our producer, she does like picking people up and throwing them around. That tends to be her thing. That's how she does this. James is still running with the grenade ability. We can see the circle on the floor, which indicates its area of effect. Now, when he hits the button, it does take a few seconds for it to prime before it pops. Now, you also see the ring of death closing in here. There's James popping the grenade, hits a few people with it. Just checking here, there are a couple of players that are similar colours at the moment, and again, that's something that we are working on, making sure that all of the players are distinguishable. At the moment, we only have a few different preset character options, but in the finished game, we will have a variety of different cosmetic options, so you can make your characters look very different from one another. But right now in this particular version of the game, we are all about the gameplay and getting the combat right. So we've got through the first round there. Unfortunately, I got eliminated because, of course, I did. So did Fight Fest. Knuckle Sandwich got through. So did Danny and a bunch of others. So we've got 8 players left now. So once 4 get eliminated, we'll move on to the final map. So this is actually part of the same map that we were on, but you can see now that it's been made a little bit smaller. There have been some walls and barriers put in just to sort of keep the action together. This particular map is split into roughly 2 sections. You've got the bottom bit down here towards the road, and then you've got a slightly safer area up the top here where James and No Fuel Jimmy are hiding. And it looked for a moment like they were having a little bit of a truce there, but that's very much unlike James. He doesn't normally show any mercy. In comes Knuckle Sandwich. He and James will go at it if they get close to one another. So being up on the high ground here does make throwing things down at your opponents a little bit easier. And there is a spawn point there in the middle of the floor, which is the circle with the question mark in it, that is about to spawn a wooden crate. If somebody breaks that open, which Michael is doing, it will probably have a weapon in it. There was a cage with 4 gas canisters in, which Knuckle Sandwich and James are throwing around at each other. They break on the floor or when they hit walls and cause fire, which is damage to everyone. Knuckle Sandwich picks up one of the larger gas canisters, which requires you to be Evo 2, throws a car that breaks the other gas canister that was on the spawn point. So there's lots of fire on the ground right now. Huge Arms and Danny fighting it out over the vending machine there, because that vending machine gives you health. Knuckle Sandwich is now there giving it a good kick in trying to get those little health drops from it. It's also a good idea to try and deplete them as quickly as you can, because if you get rid of all the health out of it and claim it for yourself, you are denying the other players from grabbing it. So That was very unfortunate. Danny broke the vending machine, managed to get a couple of the health packs out of there, but Seb swoops in like a vulture and grabs those health packs. There's No Fuel Jimmy rolling around. He's grabbing some health as well. Danny's sticking to form, picking people up and throwing them. There goes the van. Didn't find its target. Didn't really have enough of a charge. Tries to hit No Fuel Jimmy there, but it actually bounces off the vending machine. Doesn't quite find him in the corner, and he does try and dodge roll out of it. Danny with an excellent throw there into the gas canister, causing an explosion and instant extra burn damage on No Fuel Jimmy. Nobody's been eliminated yet on this round. James and Knuckle Sandwich still absolutely smashing it out of each other up here at the top of the map. James only has half a health bar left. Knuckle Sandwich has a bar and a half. James is almost out. He is literally down to the dregs of his life, and there he goes. Knuckle Sandwich has taken him out, throws down that gas canister, kind of blocking himself in a little bit, but also stopping anyone else getting up to him, and he has a grenade in reserve in case he needs it. A mince pie's running around. Seb's hiding around in the corner like a coward, trying not to get hit by the Ring of Death. So the way the Ring of Death works in this particular game mode, if you get caught in the Ring of Death, the first thing it will start to do is deplete your rage. So if you see characters in the Ring of Death, they will start to get smaller. Once your rage bar is empty and you've gone back down to Evo 1, you will then start to lose health while in the Ring of Death. So you really don't want to be caught out there. So there's only 2 more players that need eliminating. Michael's out, James is out, Danny's health's still pretty good, so's Seb's because he hasn't really done anything. No Fuel Jimmy is still on his initial health bar, so he's doing quite well. Knuckle Sandwich is trying to kick Seb out there. Mince Pie is taking a beating. Huge Arms is also down to his final health bar. Danny throws him out into the Ring of Death. I think the next person to be out here might be, or it might be Danny. Doubtful it's going to be No Fuel Jimmy. Knuckle Sandwich is still chasing people around. I think Seb is now out. A Mince Pie is now out into the Ring of Death. Lost a little bit of health there. No, trying to avoid the Ring of Death. Huge Arms uses the grenade to great effect. Pushes a Knuckle Sandwich out into the Ring of Death. Knuckle Sandwich using his dodge roll to great effect as well. Goes in with the charge backhand. Tries to get the combo on No Fuel Jimmy, but gets hit by Huge Arms from behind. There goes the grenade from Huge Arms, just preventing Knuckle Sandwich from getting the drop kick on Huge Arms and knocking him out the arena. And Knuckle Sandwich is out into the zone, and there he goes. Wasn't actually the Ring of Death. I think it was the hit from a Mince Pie that got him. So despite a Knuckle Sandwich landing the most punches in that round, he didn't manage to get through. Huge Arms also eliminated. So now we're on to the final round, and this is an even smaller map. So we have 4 fighters. We have a Mince Pie, Huge Arms, Danny, and No Fuel Jimmy. Quite a close and crowded map, this one. There's a few crates to throw. There is a dumpster down there, so there is some health available, but that is the only item that will give health. And there's one vehicle which can be thrown if anyone gets to Evo 3, which surely they will do by the end of the round. Again, Danny's sticking to form, staying at one end of the map, picking everyone up as they come in and just throwing them away. She's really, really good at that. Everyone in the studio hates getting thrown around by Danny. Huge Arms charging up the punch there, but thinks better of it. Instead goes in for No Fuel Jimmy as Danny grabs him, throws him on the bonnet of the taxi cab. A Mince Pie breaks open a crate, gets some rage. Also has a hammer which is now dropped, has been picked up by Danny, which she's swinging around wildly. Decides instead to pick up Huge Arms and throw him towards the fire. Does manage to get a hit in with the hammer there, but also just puts one foot in the fire herself and takes a little bit of damage. A Mince Pie managed to pick the car up and gave that a good throw. Did hit No Fuel Jimmy with it, who's down to 1.5 health bars. Danny's still running around with that hammer, not quite finding a mark with it. The hammer is a nice weapon because it spins, but it's also quite slow, so it's very easy for somebody to dodge out of the way of that one. There's some throwing from Danny. Now, Mince Pie is too big for Danny to throw, probably because of all the mince pies they've been eating. But you can still do an armbar takedown on them just to bring them to ground. So even though you can't pick them up and throw them, the grab still works. That was an excellent throw by a Mince Pie there, which I think hit at least 2 players. It might have hit all 3. In comes the Ring of Death. There's a baseball bat, which I think a Mince Pie is trying to pick up if it wasn't for all the junk that was on top of it. Huge Arms has a grenade, manages to hit No Fuel Jimmy with it. Danny's picking everything up she can find and throwing it. Huge Arms managed to catch the dumpster that's thrown towards him. So this is another thing that you can do with thrown objects and thrown players. If things are thrown towards you and you're big enough to pick them up yourself, you can actually catch them in midair and throw them back. You can also catch a player trying to perform a charged kick towards you as Danny catches the dumpster thrown at her. So we've got No Fuel Jimmy now out. We've just got Danny, a mince pie, and Huge Arms left. Huge Arms is really in troubles, down to a single health bar. Danny has a little bit of her second health bar left, so she's got just over a third of her health left. Huge Arms has been thrown out into the Ring of Death a couple of times now. There he goes again. So he's taking damage from the Ring of Death. He doesn't have any rage left. He's only Evo 1. He can't pick up either of the other players. He is going to get absolutely mashed if Danny can pick him up once more and throw him out. Or it might be that a mince pie goes in and gets a hit. Huge Arms gets the combo on Danny, ends with the uppercut, knocks her up into the air, manages to get 2 hits of a combo on, but she just grabs him because he mistimes it. He goes in for another combo on mince pie, gets picked up by Danny, thrown into the Ring of Death, loses what little bit of health he has left as another throw into the outside finishes him off. The map is on fire. Danny's throwing cars. Mince pie stuck in the corner. Does have more health than Danny, but there's a lot going on here between these two. As the car gets thrown backwards and forwards, both players desperately trying not to be the one to mistime the grab, because if you mistime it, you're going to get hit by that car. The car goes up in the air again. It's causing a little bit of a block. There's Danny using the grenade, manages to knock Mince Pie back into the Ring of Death, which gives Danny the opportunity to pick the car up again and throw it. Danny's health is very, very low, just a sliver left, as both of them are desperately trying to pick things up and throw them at each other. And Mince Pie does get hit a couple more times, finishes off the last of her health, and Danny is victorious for what might possibly have been Danny's first ever win in survival. So what do we have up next? This should probably be Rage Bank. Yes, it is. So Rage Bank is another one of our team games. So once more, 4 teams fight this one out. And this particular game mode plays into that mechanic of gaining rage when you do damage to the other team. So you can see a Rage Bank right there in the middle of the screen, these big looking chemical vats, and there are some indicators around them on the screen. As I'm holding my hand against the vat, I'm transferring my rage into the vat. You can see it's starting to fill up. And this is how you score points for your team. So you want to do damage to members of the other teams, that gives you rage. You then go and find a Rage Bank and you drop your rage off at that bank, which scores points. So there is a trade-off here, because obviously you want to get big. The larger you are, the more damage you can do. Also allows you to pick up bigger objects. But the downside of scoring points is that you're going to rage down, which is what I'll do here. I'm trying to pick up these rage crates, but I'm going to probably drop some more rage off in a moment. Throwing people around always gets very chaotic around the Rage Banks. But one thing you will notice is when you start dropping rage off at the Rage Banks, even though you do lose rage and start to size down, you do actually regain a little bit of health, so it is a good way to get back into the fight. What you don't want to do in this game mode is be Evo 3 for a really long time and just run around hoarding it, because sooner or later, as I throw James off into the pit, he was very annoyed about that, sooner or later someone will take you out, and then all of that rage you had becomes lost. So when you're Evo 3, yes, defend yourself is what I'm doing here, but go and try and find another Rage Bank. Now they do fill up, and when they become full they will respawn somewhere else on the map, and there will be an off-screen indicator. There's currently one in the bottom left hand corner, now the bottom middle, showing the direction to the bank and how full it is. As James comes after me for throwing him off the map, he wasn't happy about it. I try and hit him with a baseball bat. I throw him out the way again, just long enough so that I can try and get some of my rage into the vat as I pick up the bat, and then go back in and try and chase down Boom Boom Pow. That's enough for watching me. Let's go over here and see what's happening. Fight Fest going after Danny. Danny, true to form, picking up people and throwing. Out goes Fight Fest into the concrete. He is done. So any rage he had there will be lost. I'm taking a kicking from JFP. Managed to pick up the truck. Go in for the charge flying kick against Michael. He runs away. Go in for Boom Boo Pow. Get a combo in. Not enough to take them out. Go for James. Actually managed to land a hit and then think better of it. Let's not fight James. He's a better player than I am. I throw the truck at Bennett. JFP goes into the flames as I then run away to try and find another Rage Bank, because I am full rage, losing some health. gets hit in the back by Fight Fest, probably also a bit of vengeance for throwing them in the pit earlier. And there you can see my health going up as I'm dropping that rage off, currently uncontested, scoring points for the team. The rage bank is now full and getting some health back. So at the moment, the blue team and the red team are nearly neck and neck. Red team just slightly getting away there, 55%. The yellow team down with 27%, that's 21%, 17% for the green team as Fight Fest drops off some more there. Blue team now slightly in the lead by a single percent. James fighting Danny has actually managed to throw her into the pit. She did sort of grab a hold of the rebar there and stop herself falling in, but James finished her off by throwing a gas canister in her direction. She was never going to be able to get away from that anyway. Once you are in the pit, you are in. Just accept your fate and take a little swim in the grey stuff. The blue team's still in the lead, 63% over 56 from the red. I won't say it's anyone's game because it doesn't look like yellow or green really have a chance here. Raising Jake, was about to get taken out by a charge punch, but just managed to grab Boom Boom Pow and throw them away and live to fight another day. Even dropped off some rage and managed to get some health back there. Bennett throws the water barrel. Jake just manages to dodge out of the way there. Is now having to deal with both Bennett and Michael. Rolls through and manages to ninja grab the rage, drops it off at the rage bank to gain a little bit more health. Jake really trying to hang on there as the red team hits 70%, the blue team lagging slightly behind at 68. Green and yellow are catching up slightly, but still are far too far away to be getting a reasonable chance at a win here. 73% for the red team. There's a big fight going on around the rage bank in the middle, and that's because there are fourth spawners here that spawn these rage crates. So break them open and grab the little fist inside, and that'll give you a full charge of your rage bar. Lots of gas canisters going off, lots of damage being done, lots of rage being gained, but nobody's scoring any points here because they're not dropping it off. Go Gadget Goose at Evo 2 running away because he's hardly got any health. The red team are now at 78%. Somebody somewhere, probably Danny and Knuckle Sandwich, dropping off. Here I go, I'm dropping my rage off also at the rage bank. Knuckle Sandwich is dropping off 95, 96, 96% for the red team, but that bank is now full. The blue team at 75%, they've found another rage bank. Seb and George both dropping off there. Can the blue team catch up? 83, 84, 85, 86. The timer is now at an end because these are time limited rounds. The red team wins on 98%. I know it said 97 in the game, it's probably just rounding up. So 98% from the red team. Glad to look at that scoreboard and go, not only did I deposit the most rage for the red team, but more rage than anybody else in the entire game. So yay for me on that one. Though Go Gadget Goose was very, very close behind. Danny letting the red team down there because she always forgets to play the objective on this game. Bennett letting the blue team down quite miserably. But yeah, that is Rage Bank. It's a very, very chaotic, fast-paced game and a very enjoyable one once people realise what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, I think I've got one match left for you to watch today, and this is this one. So this is another survival game. So back to Battle Royale, but this is in duo, so teams of twos. So once again, I am on the red team. I am paired with Raising Jake. We've got Seb and Go Gadget Goose on the green team. We have got James and Boom Boom Pow on the blue team as they uppercut Michael on the orange team. Danny is on the yellow team, as is Bennett. Who else have we got? We've got Michael. Michael's on the orange team with a mince pie. Fight Fest is on the white team with George. And No Fuel Jimmy is on the brown team with Knuckle Sandwich. JFP is on the purple team with Huge Arms. So there we go. So we've got 8 teams. We've got 16 players. There they all there. All are there. So we've got 16 players as I get to Evo 2. Pick up the huge gas canister. Throw it. Managed to bounce it off the front of a car. Do get a couple of hits in there as I pick up the dumpster and throw it at Fight Fest. Then I go in, get a little bit of a combo. Managed to grab a baseball bat. Baseball bat versus hammer. The baseball bat's nearly always going to win just because of the speed difference. Jake and I have got Fight Fest separated from his teammate there, so we were trying to get in and get a few sneaky hits, but then he runs away to the protection of George. James rolling around in the corner, picking up dumpsters. A mince pie manages to just grab it there. I'm not sure whether that was by accident or whether it was skillfully timed, but James gets picked up by a mince pie, thrown over the central barriers into the other half of the map. Boom Boom Power rolling around. Michael's a little bit isolated now, although he has just rolled out of the way. JFP going in to get some, moving over to the other side of the map. Lots of people do try and grab these gas canisters whenever they spawn. James just trying to unbury one there, but every time he tries to throw it, somebody knocks him over. Boom Boom Pow picks it up, throws it up into the top hand corner of the map. That's actually made things a little bit easier for Danny and Bennett, who are sort of hiding up in the corner, stuck between the Ring of Death and that circle of flame on the floor. They've managed to get Fight Fest again, a little bit isolated. Danny running down towards them has met George, so white team's now together. Bennett's still staying up in that corner out of the way, picking up things and throwing them as he can, as a Knuckle Sandwich pops the grenade and misses his mark. No Fuel Jimmy's now got Danny trapped in the corner. Bennett does go in to offer assistance, which is enough to get the brown team to back off. Go Gadget Goose looks like they unfortunately rolled into the melee, as Knuckle Sandwich once again rolls in towards the yellow team with his grenade, but mistimes it and doesn't actually find his target. Seb performing the old 3-hit combo on Michael there, ending with an uppercut. Does have a grenade, again, doesn't quite find anybody in range, as Go Gadget Goose goes in and slightly misses as well. Lots of cars being thrown around here. Seb just picking this purple truck up because he doesn't like the colour purple. There goes the red car. Doesn't quite charge the throw up long enough to make it work. Actually manages to get up 2 hits in a row there on whoever that was in the orange team. Go Gadget Goose goes in with a grenade. Only finds his own teammate, which isn't going to make any difference because it doesn't hit friendlies. Mince Pie breaking open a crate. Finds a hammer. Not the best of weapon in these situations, but if you can get in the middle of a group and get a good spin-off, as JFP goes down, and that is the round over. So that is 4 whole teams eliminated. And as I said at the beginning of the solo round, it doesn't matter if one member of the team gets eliminated, the whole team has to be eliminated. So we'll have 4 teams, 8 players through now. If one member of the team got through, both players are through. So we've got the brown team, No Fuel Jimmy and Knuckle Sandwich. We've got the blue team, James and Boom Boom Pow. We've got the greens, Seb and Go Gadget Goose. And we've got Michael and a Mince Pie on the orange team. So there are our 4 teams. Mince Pie trying to pick up the health canister already, maybe just to keep it away from the brown team. Michael picking it up. Now you can actually do damage to somebody if you do hit them with a direct hit with a health canister, but you're also going to heal them because they'll get knocked down and they'll be standing in the healing aura. So there is a rage pickup there, but that dumpster's in the way, so until that moves, nobody can pick that up. I don't think anybody's Evo 2 yet, so no one can pick up the larger gas canister. Oh no, Knuckle Sandwich can. He's Evo 2, picks up the big gas canister, gets hit, but manages to throw it, gets a nice fireball going over as Michael and Mince Pie hiding up in the corner of the map. No Fuel Jimmy absolutely wailing on that vending machine there to try and get health. Now his health is full, so he doesn't really need it, but by exhausting it, he stops other players from getting it. So he's playing tactically there. Knuckle Sandwich is running around trying to isolate his targets. He's got Michael on his own. Goes in and hits and then runs away. Decides he wants a little bit more health. Maybe his teammate was in trouble and he came running over to help. He's actually now 2-on-1 with Mince Pie and Michael. No Fuel Jimmy comes back in for the brown team to kind of help out here. The Knuckle Sandwich really quick at charging his grenade up. So the more damage you do, the quicker you're going to charge your rage, the quicker you'll get that grenade and you can use it again. Doesn't find anyone with the grenade as James pops his. Again, looking like he's missed everybody as they roll out of the way. Seb's got very little health. Just manages to roll out of the way of a Knuckle Sandwich's grenade and survive. But I think James just took him out. Yeah, so Go Gadget Goose and James and Seb are both out. So down go the green team. We've still got blues, oranges and browns in, although blues are now down to 1. So James is the only one left on the blue team. Knuckle Sandwich and No Fuel Jimmy will be coordinating to try and take him down. James being one of the most dangerous players in the match. And now that he doesn't have a teammate is an excellent opportunity to single him out and get him picked off. Especially if the orange team are just going to hide up in the top corner and try and heal and collect stuff. So Knuckle Sandwich and No Fuel Jimmy trying to block James in, trying to use the vehicles, trying to chase him down, getting a little bit waylaid by the orange team, unfortunately, but a couple of lucky hits from No Fuel Jimmy and a grenade from a Knuckle Sandwich, just enough to take James out. The orange team survived by hiding up in the corner and getting through just by the pure process of staying out of the fight. But now it's going to come down to the brown team and the orange team, so we've got No Fuel Jimmy and Knuckle Sandwich versus Michael and a Mince Pie. On a map which again is quite small. There are a couple of green healing barrels and a dumpster, so there is some health here. We've got a cage in the middle with 4 gas canisters, so that's going to cause a lot of flames and explosions as Mince Pie's rolling around trying to collect the health. So most objects that get thrown around do drop some form of health, the green objects, so it's well worth rolling around and trying to pick them up if you can, just to stop your opponents from getting them. So once again, another reminder, if you are interested in playing OutRage, we are currently in pre-alpha, although we've got it listed on Steam as a beta, as is the way of things. But if you want to play the current pre-alpha, just go to the Steam store page, which presumably is where you are already watching this video. Look just below this and you'll see a little section about the beta, and there's a button that says request access. If you're logged into Steam, doesn't matter whether you are on the Steam website through a browser or whether you're on the Steam store page via your Steam app, either on your phone or on your desktop. Look for the beta section below this video at the top of the game description. Click on the little button that says request access if you're logged in, and it will automatically put OutRage into your game library. And you can come along and play at any time. We do hold events at the weekends and in the evenings just to encourage more people to get on and all play together at the same time, so we have more fun. It's always more fun the more people that are playing. We also have a few competitions going at the minute where you can win some prizes like Amazon vouchers for turning up, so it's well worth getting involved for that. If you ever want to know what time the events take place, fire up the game and it will tell you the time and date of the next event up in the top corner of the interface, and it will depend on what region you are in. If you're interested in arranging your own games with other players or taking part in another region, hop on over to our Discord, which is discord.gg/outrage, and all of the upcoming events will be listed there, and you'll be able to talk with other players, myself and the other developers, and we can answer any questions for you, and might even be able to come on and play a game or two with you. So thanks a lot for watching. This has been OutRage. It is a chaotic isometric melee brawler for up to 32 players. We have team modes, we have solo modes, we have survival, battle royale, team deathmatch, capture the flag, domination, crate grab. Absolutely great fun. Everyone that we've had so far that has played this has had a really, really good time. It's really, really easy to pick up. It's really, really easy to get into. And at the moment, like I said, if you want to come along and play this current build, the exact same one that you're watching here in the video, you can download it for free and you can play it as much as you like. And we will be updating it as time goes on. Obviously, we're still working on the game. There's already a lot more happened behind the scenes since this version was made. But obviously, we want to make sure everything's nice and tight and polished and working. So we really, really want to get feedback from you. If you want to come along and play, then please do. If you are interested in the game, but you're not necessarily interested in taking part in the beta testing, that's absolutely fine. Please do join our Discord so you can keep up on what is happening. We've got lots of things to share with you between now and the release of the game. Also, please do consider joining the Steam community so that we can post important updates and announcements on there. Wishlist the game on Steam. That will really, really help us out, because when the game launches, we want as many people as possible in here playing this game. The more people we've got playing, the quicker it's going to be to find a game. It's going to be better for everyone. It's going to be far more fun, and it gives us more visibility on Steam. So please, please do consider doing that if you can. And also follow us on social media. Just search for Play OutRage. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. We have a subreddit as well. So please do, on your platform of choice, come along and follow us. Get involved with us, share it with your friends. If you want to play this game with your friends as well, by the way, please do link them to the Steam page. They can come and download it for free as well. You can set up a private game just as at the beginning of this video. Hit the join room button, put in a 4-digit code, share that code with your friends. They can all join your game. You can all play together. Absolutely great for a party game with your mates. Or just hit quick play and play with a few random people that you've never met before. It's still great fun. And make a few friends on Discord. We've got some really great people who have been really big fans of the game since we announced it. They've been playing since August. Absolutely love it. They're every week. Come to every event. They're a really friendly bunch. They're really, really helpful. It's a great community, even though it's quite small at the moment. But do come and get involved, because you're going to learn some good tips and tricks from these people. So thanks a lot for watching our little video, and we will see you on the battlefield.